Alright, what's up, y'all? This is RevFit Radio. My name is Shawn Garcia, and this is our first Q&A episode of Season 3. So if you haven't heard it yet, go back to our preview episode that we put out a couple of days ago, kind of explaining the new format of the season. So obvious differences is that we're not only doing audio, so for those who are listening via podcast, we are also doing video. And the video you can get on our website, or you can go onto our YouTube page, which is RevFit NYC, and you can check in on there. So if you like to look at our faces, our pretty faces, which we'll introduce who's sitting next to me in a little bit, or if you just like to chill in your crib and listen on your podcast, that's good too. So for those who've never heard our Q&A shows before, basically how our Q&A shows work is that we have a topic that we are going to discuss. So today is, why is it so hard to lose fat? And then we have some questions associated with the topic. And my co-host, who we're going to introduce quickly in a bit, asks the questions to me or to any of our other master trainers who will be on future episodes, and we try to answer the questions as best as possible. The questions, what's cool about them is that they're submitted by you guys. So if you're listening to the show, if you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of our community, you can send us a question. And the way that you do that is you go onto our website, you could drop us a voicemail or a message on our website. You can go onto social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, what's the other ones?
What's that? Periscope,
any of those, whatever they are. And then Periscope at random.
Chinese Facebook.
Facebook, because they can't get access.
They got subtitles.
And you just submit the question and use the hashtag AskRevFit. So AskRevFit, and we'll make sure that we try to address those questions in future episodes. We're also going to be streaming live on Facebook. Are we good to go on Facebook? So we're live on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you're watching live and direct, you can submit questions on Facebook too. Just drop a comment. Maybe it's a follow-up question. Maybe it's a question that we never addressed, whatever have you. So with that, I'm going to let my co-host introduce himself.
What's up, world? My name is Jon Rones, a.k.a. Midnight Snacks, former Mexican wrestler, a.k.a. professional stunt double for random chubby Puerto Ricans and occasional slim Mexicans. It depends on what I have for lunch. What's going on?
What's up? So you're joining us for Season 3. How you feeling about joining the RevFit Radio team?
I feel some pressure to lose some weight, man. I'm not gonna lie. Especially with today's topic, I feel like there's some comedic value here.
Well, that's what it's all about, you know what I mean? Because we all come from different walks of life. You know, we are in this journey together. So definitely, it's good to have you. You've been around our community for a long time in different functions. So it's good to have you plugging into something.
I like this.
More regular.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so let's just get into it. Let's go into the first question.
The first question comes from Queens, the borough. This was a submission through Facebook.
All right.
And the question is it true that eating at night increases your fat percentage?
Increases your fat percentage. So the borough asked the question? There's no person associated with it?
Yes. I don't want to blow up a spot. Her name is Kathy. Her last name is Rojas.
All right, there we go.
Big ups, shout outs.
Kathy, one of our trainers actually. So Kathy's asking, is it true if you eat at night that you can put on some weight or increase? So this is kind of common myth. A lot of people are always like wondering, you know, if you're more prone to weight gain while eating at night, or if it's counterintuitive or counterproductive to your training program to eat at night. But this is not really real. It doesn't matter what time you eat in the day. It's more about what you are eating. So what happens though is that when people have munchies at night, they're usually craving the wrong things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like your body is following through on bad habits.
Yep. So you're more prone to bad habits for a few reasons. Because you're tired, So you're like, oh my God, I'm not gonna cook anything.
It's dark out.
Yeah, you're trying to find the convenient thing. It's dark out.
Nobody can see you in the fridge.
hiding, getting the Haagen-Dazs. But no, yeah. So you're making wrong decisions usually at night, and also your cravings for sugar and things like this are higher because your body is more exhausted and usually in a deprived state because you've probably been neglecting yourself
energy
all day.
Thing. If you've expended a lot of energy, your body's asking for that quick energy boost.
Yep. And usually at night when you go home, you're usually like watching TV or doing something like that where that's where your attention is focused and you're kind of trying to decompress. Yeah. So then you kind of just, scarfing down.
Not burning energy, sitting down.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right.
Yeah, because I know Kathy, she's on her feet a lot for her job. And so, that what happens when people are working a lot and forget to eat is that when they finally do get the opportunity to eat, they usually binge on something, and usually not the good things, usually sugary foods or carby foods or things like that.
That's actually what they called me in college, actually, binge. Big binge. True story. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah, sure.
This is coming from Harlem, from Shirley Layra. This was a tweet. There's no hashtag. I don't know how she got it through, but she did. Is it true that your body cannibalizes itself when you go on a diet?
So do you eat other people?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I don't know, man. If you eat yourself, does it count towards the calories?
So when you're on a diet, so I think what she's asking is when you're on a short-term kind of eating practice, which some people call it dieting. So maybe you're eating less food or you're eating less of a certain type of food. Is your body more prone to this cannibalistic state? And so what that means basically for the listeners who don't know is that when your body is deprived of calories, it kind of puts on a safety mechanism, right? It's back to our ancient ancestors. We'd go long periods without eating food, a couple hours, couple days, a couple weeks without getting access to a good amount of food. So our body would basically, as a protective mechanism, start limiting our appetite and just kind of eating off of the fat.
The fat storage.
The fat storage that we have.
Is there a fancy word for this? I feel like...
Well, like lipids?
Nah. One of the first times we ever had a big conversation about, diet and intake and all that, you dropped this word on me and I'll never forget the word. I don't want to mispronounce it. Is ketosis?
Yes.
Hey,
there you go.
Can we get some love? What is ketosis?
So this is, a lot of the folks who prescribe to like paleo diets and similar kind of diets are usually playing with ketosis, and so it's this state where your body goes into kind of like you're like fasting. So you're kind of like hungry, depriving your body of food, and so your body starts tapping in to your fat reserves. One of the biggest issues, I guess, on this topic of like how to burn fat or how to get rid of fat is that our bodies don't really want to do that. Right? The way fat was made, fat is actually something that we need. We need essential fats, we need fat storage, so that when we are in states of deprivation, we have some energy to tap into. But the way the body works is that when you're burning calories, the first thing you're tapping into is carbs. As the human, our makeup. You tap into your carbs, then you tap into your protein, and finally you tap into fat. So that's why it's so hard to get to the fat. So getting into this state of ketosis allows you to kind of trick your body and tap into those fat reserves, even though you're not going through prolonged periods of fasting. So, certain diets you can do this. To answer Shirley's question, certain diets you can do this. You can play around and kind of trick your body. But usually if you want some long-term benefits, not only how to lose fat in the short term, but how to maintain a healthy lifestyle and habits, body weight and habits and all that kind of stuff, you have to start, eating some more real foods and figuring out a plan that is, has some longevity. Yeah, realistic. Yeah. Because if you're constantly dieting and yo-yoing back and forth in your weight, then that's disastrous. Yeah.
You can end up being a billionaire though. Like Oprah. Anyway, all right, this is from the South Bronx, BX Borough Stand Up. My man Jason Serrano left us a voicemail somewhere. And the question is, cardio or weight training, which one will help you burn fat the quickest?
So the two big things, right? Cardiovascular training. So when people think of cardio, they're thinking of running, getting on a treadmill, using a spin bike, Maybe people even thinking like dance classes like Zumba, or like, you know, aerobic power step kind of stuff. Tae-bo. We definitely know our ages now. So it could be something like that, right? And then we think of weight training, you're thinking like, you know, some kind of circus style training. You're thinking like bodybuilding or powerlifting, and then more commonly now you're thinking like CrossFit or kind of like cross training kind of stuff. So the question is, which one is more effective for weight loss? And the answer, not to sound too cliche, is but a combination of the two. So you could do like just cardio and burn a lot of calories, right? You go on a treadmill, you rock out for an hour, you probably burn, I don't know, 500 calories or something like that is what the number is going to say on the machine. That's not always that accurate. But you're burning it, and then after you get off the treadmill, you kind of come back to a cooled state, you're relaxing, you're not burning calories anymore. While weight training, during your weight training session, not only are you burning calories, not as much as you would in a cardiovascular session. So like if you work out for an hour doing weights, maybe you're burning like 300 calories or something like that. But the thing about weight training is that you have to recover after weight training. Your muscles have to rebuild, and that process of rebuilding your muscles burns calories too. So it's like an ongoing state of calorie burning.
Yeah, so, you know, I've done a lot of things to try to lose weight. Here's two questions for you. The first one is, speaking of treadmills, one of my boys is like a fake bodybuilder. You know, he be lifting weights, you know, he got the muscles and all that, the pecs and all that. And he was talking to me about high intensity or high impact training. Like you trick your body into burning fat and calories faster when you run like full bore for like a minute, and then you mix in like jogging, you know, fast walking, then you go hard for like 2 minutes. Are you with that? Because I am not with that. And I'm with like, you know, say I'm gonna be on the treadmill for 20 minutes, but really do it for 10 minutes and then end up just walking uphill, like the incline on 7, but like the speed 2.
That
but
works.
Like heart rate be going though.
Yeah.
So like, what's up with that high intensity versus just getting your heart rate up? Yeah,
so it's gonna depend too, like what your fitness level is. So if you're basically deconditioned, anything's gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just walk up and down stairs, you know, in the building where you work. And you know that might be good enough for you right now if you're deconditioned. But if you're a little bit more advanced athletically, then you do need to start tapping into these things that are gonna break those plateaus. So interval training could be one of them. But what happens, my issue with a lot of this stuff is because like HIIT training or, you know, CrossFit, what happens is that people are really just trying to go really, really hard all the time, and that doesn't have longevity. Your body will break down. You need to have a balance of going hard, resting, going light, you know, just listening to your body kind of stuff, because there's people who, you know, are always looking for quick fixes. What's the 12-minute workout that I can do that's gonna get me the best results?
Right.
And you know, that works for a little bit, but it doesn't have long-term benefits. So to answer that question, it can be good for some people, but you know, overall, we want people to just start challenging themselves in different ways, you know?
Yeah. So I guess you sort of answered the second question is, I also hear people that say never do cardio, only work with weights because the muscle building will burn the fat. So it's like, it depends on your level. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big push in the past 10 years, I think, that you don't need to do cardio. You could just do like high intensity training, or you could do CrossFit, or you could do circuit training, and you know, take shorter rest periods and all that kind of stuff. And that is all true. You can do those things and get some benefits, but cardiovascular training is super important. You know, we're talking about our ability to intake the energy known as oxygen and convert it into energy that's useful for our body. We're talking about being able to have the conditioning to run for a protracted period of time, play with our kids. You know, things like this are really, really important. So people go into a weight room and forget all about cardio and say, oh no, that's for people who want to be super skinny, and dismiss it as something that they'll need part of their protocol. And what I've seen is that there's been a big deterioration of people's conditioning and cardiovascular strength. And then things like CrossFit are like, oh, just do our crazy workout and it'll hit the cardio you need. Right. And that is true. Again, if you're a beginner, it will hit your cardio needs, because again, you can do anything and it'll hit your cardio needs.
Right.
But as you start progressing, as you want to be more athletic and do more things with your body, you really need to start incorporating cardiovascular training. And there's different types. There's running, there's rowing, jumping rope, boxing, dancing, all these different things that you can do.
So it's about knowing your body type, moving, and then finding a balance that hits all these things.
Exactly.
This is useful, man, useful. I hope my grandmother's watching. Spanish Harlem, Joelle Montalvo, a Facebook submission. Why does it take so long to burn fat?
We kind of touched on this in the first question, but again, this is the most frustrating thing to do, is burn fat. Many people, well, there's people who are like 18, 19-year-olds who, you know, their metabolism is working good, they feel great, they're trying to put on weight. So there's that group of people. But the majority, I would say, of Americans, especially as you get into your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, are trying to be slim, trying to keep down the weight, trying to get rid of the excessive weight, all that stuff, or convert fat into muscle.
Yeah.
I want more tone, I want more muscles, less, you know, pudge and all that kind of stuff. So it's becoming a more increasing question. And then also too, you know, we see the highest states ever in U.S. history in childhood obesity. So not only are we talking about adults trying to lose weight, but why is it that our kids are so morbidly obese?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's the nutrition is what we're being fed. It's what we have access into in our communities, right? This stuff seems kind of obvious, but we got to remind ourselves, like, it's hard because if you walk outside right now, what's your options? You know?
Like 5 nuggets for 47 cents.
Exactly.
Yeah, pizza.
Exactly, pizza.
Pizza's healthy, right?
Yeah, pizza's real good for you. You know.
All the food groups are.
You got your tomato sauce with your veggies,
your dairy, your grain. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Pizza's great. We're joking, of course, but you know, all jokes aside, it is hard. It's a struggle. It's not something that, you know, if I say to myself, oh, I'm gonna lose weight today, it's just gonna magically happen. And I think it's okay that it's hard. You know, that's not the biggest issue per se. I think the issue is we're taught to believe it shouldn't be as hard, or we're taught to believe that, you know, our efforts, you know, if we're not losing weight at a certain rate, then our efforts are for naught. Like, you know, why are you even trying?
Right.
You know, so we get down on ourselves, or we
also
start.
That we can't change. That
right.
We're just destined to be fat, lazy slobs. You know.
Well, I got some signals from the producers. So yeah, so the fat, lazy slobs. Yeah. We get this narrative in our head, like this internalized oppression. Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, and then also too, it's like, even if we're trying to make good choices, there's things in society working against what we're trying to do. Absolutely. Or like if we're kids, if we're trying to feed them good stuff at home, then they're going to school and they're getting fed all this crazy stuff. So it is hard, but it's not impossible. And so I think that's what the step is like, start empowering yourself with, you know, tangible steps that even if they're not drastic, even if I'm not losing 10 pounds a month, what are the things I'm doing here and there, the changes that I'm making that are gonna have some good long-term effects.
Just make that progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Poco every day.
That's it.
We got any questions from the web?
I have a question.
Okay.
Why is it harder to lose weight the older you get?
Ooh, if they didn't hear that on the mic, why is it harder to lose weight the older you Spanish Harlem?
So yeah, this is a, you know, as you get older, like when you're younger, like when I was young, I don't know about you, but if I got a little gut over the winter, springtime would come, I'd play basketball 8 hours a day, every day, and I'd be slim trim again.
Those are the days, bro.
If you can't see John's face, he's basically like...
I think my metabolism shut off when I was 7. I don't know. Something happened.
And then that's another thing. So a lot of people were like, oh, my metabolism is slow. That's not true. There's no one really genetically has a faster metabolism than someone else. That's like a myth. Some people are like, oh, I'm just skinny because I have a fast metabolism. That's a myth.
Yeah.
If you have a fast metabolism, then you probably have some genetic performance that, you know, metabolism is not good because that means your body's breaking down quicker. That metabolism is like your body's ability to regenerate itself and eventually die out. So most of us have the same metabolism. It's just that we're doing constant abuse to our bodies, and when we're younger, it's only a few years of abuse.
Oh, yeah.
But as we get older, those years of abuse accumulate. Yeah.
Damn.
So like when I'm 20, I just been eating reckless for a couple years after I started, earning a paycheck and buying whatever I buy. But then when I'm 40, I've been eating reckless for 25, 30 years, and so now it's a little bit of a deeper battle, because what we see on the outside is kind of just a reflection of something that's been going on inside for a long time.
Yeah.
So like you could be skinny and think you're all good, but on the inside you're doing damage.
Yeah.
And then it'll start reflecting eventually. So it is harder because there's more habits created, there's more damage that's been done.
Scar tissue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Metaphoric.
Exactly. And then when you're young, you could just like work out and your body reacts and responds to it.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. We got one
that
last
answer the questions, Kimmy? Yeah, good.
We ready for the last question?
Let's go into it, yeah.
This is from Kimberly Barrero from Throg's Neck.
Oh.
Throg's Neck, what up? This was an Instagram direct message. That's like technology, yo. 2016. What is the best diet for weight loss? And should I feel hungry all the time? No, you shouldn't. I'm just gonna answer that. No, you shouldn't.
Why should you feel hungry all the time?
Because then you're not eating what you need to eat. You should feel more full when you eat the proper things, because your body's breaking it down, and that breakdown process is putting your body to work, and that should correlate to a feeling of sustenance.
There we go.
Right?
There we go.
Is that true?
That is all true. That is all true. Speaking of Instagram technology, though, just to go on a little tangent, how we doing on time? We good? All right. So just a little tangent. So I recently, this has nothing to do with the question. I recently deleted Facebook off my phone.
Yeah.
I had to re-download it to publish this, but I'm gonna delete it after again.
I like that.
And so the only thing I have left on my phone is Instagram, because I like looking at pictures. But I was using so much time being on Facebook and kind of bullshitting that now, like, I just focus on Facebook when I'm at a computer, but when I'm on my phone, I don't want to have it distracting me. So how you doing with social media? You got?
I was just thinking about deleting my Facebook also, just because of all the, shit that I don't want to deal with. I don't want to hear about all this stuff. But I don't know. It's hard because it's good. It's a good way to keep up with people, But I feel you, man. I feel you. I see it working with young people. They're just plugged in all day to the phone. And the place that where I work, just instituted a new cell phone policy where if you walk into a room and you're working with people, you got to put your cell phone like in this cubby system. And I'm anti that. I'm all about personal freedom.
I was gonna say, imagine you try to do that in the crib. What wife would say?
Yeah,
put your phone away.
But I feel it, man. Although we are evolving, technology and all that's making things easier for us to do online. But fabric of society, communication, face to face, all that. So I don't know. I feel like,
and also too, I think to get back to the topic, what happens is that at night, when we should be winding down and doing things that are healthy for our body to get us into a restful state, we're usually plugged into a TV. But now more commonly we're on our phones, answering emails, getting this blue light in our face, all that craziness, keeping us awake.
Yeah, what is that? The moon, the lunar, what's that thing called with your body?
Yeah, the clock.
Somebody help us.
Circadian rhythm. There we go.
Brother Rob. Bang.
Exactly. Which there's a lot of truth to that too. So so
and also affecting your rest. I mean, besides like the actual physiological changes, you need to sleep. You need to rest. You need to rejuvenate, recuperate.
Exactly. And then at night, if you're not allowing yourself to rest, you're stressing your body out. And so you start releasing some stress hormones. And so we know the stress hormones are the ones that are the leading factors that lead to what we call visceral fat, which is stomach fat. So if you're like trying to, get rid of your gut and work on your stomach, you should probably get off your phone and TV at an earlier time. But at the same token, I think it's important to be a social person and connect with people. And if that's the only time you can like answer emails and stuff like that, but you should just be mindful that you're trying to get off of it as soon as possible. And when we say rest, we're talking like read a book, turn off electronics and just talk to your family, make love with your partner or yourself or whatever you do. Just like do things that are like restorative, healthy, light a candle, take a bath, listen to music. That kind of stuff is all healthy.
I love that.
Yeah, you're about to do that tonight?
I'm going on the train. On the way home.
You gonna make love to yourself?
If that's what it's gotta be, I'll do what I gotta do.
Alright, so back to the question. What was the question again?
The question is, how can you make love to yourself on the train without getting arrested? my bad. That's the question I just was thinking of. The best way to lose weight, the best diet for weight loss.
Oh, that's right.
And should she feel hungry all the time? Kimberly, I'm so sorry you feel that way.
So this what happens a lot. People go on a diet, usually a fad diet, right? The new thing that's popular. And when we say popular, people have to remember they're popular because some money is behind that popularity. Yeah.
Yep.
So someone's paying for those ads, someone's paying for those commercials, someone's paying for you to know about this thing. Usually the stuff that is most healthy is the stuff that you systematically know least about. Especially if you come from a poor working class community, this is the last thing that we're taught, So if we understand that, why it's popular, then we can start analyzing a little bit more of these kind of diets that we're going on. Some of the more famous ones are like the Atkins diet, where you're basically just consuming animal proteins or a high protein diet. Then you have the as long as it fits my macros diet, right? What's the?
Wow.
I forget what the acronym.
Is there an acronym? I'm about to say.
Yeah.
That sounds like a long
As
name.
long as it fits my macros. I'm probably saying it wrong.
AMCO,
something like that.
And you can get your carb figure there too, right?
So that one's basically, as long as I'm hitting my prescribed carbs, protein, fat, then it doesn't matter what I eat.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the food is. I could be eating Snickers bars as long as it fits my macros, kind of stuff. Then there's veganism, which is another. I wouldn't say. I mean, a fad diet has become for sure. Then there's paleo. Paleo has been coming around for the last 5 to 10 years. Paleo is very popular.
That's like a throwback diet.
That
was popping 40,000 years ago, right?
Yes.
And then it went dormant.
Yeah. So the paleo diet is basically, back when we were hunters and gatherers, the founders of paleo basically saying this is the way we used to eat. We need to get back to our roots, kind of thing. The only issue I have with the paleo stuff is that a lot of the time, most of the studies for paleo are done in European regions.
Oh.
So European ancestors.
Yeah.
So in the Caribbean, where I'm from and from you're from, right, our ancestors was mostly eating fruits and vegetables, right, because of the quality of the soil. But if you go in Europe, there's times where it's real cold, and so there's no fruits or produce or anything like that. It's all dead, so a lot of meat is eaten. So in any case, but it doesn't matter what the fad diet is. If you're starting to eat a fad diet and you don't feel nourished, that's not a good thing. So if you're feeling hungry, because that leads to binge eating.
Exactly.
Yeah, that leads to crashing.
That's actually a diet that someone in my job is
binge eating?
on. Dead ass, binge eating.
Oh,
he would be real good all week and then said he would spaz out on one day on the weekend.
Oh, the cheat day, yeah.
And that would shock his body into burning more fat when he was. And he said he had me believing it.
I forget this diet.
Damn, that sounds great.
Yeah, I heard about this one. I mean, the cheat diet, this is crazy because you could do more damage in one day to your endocrine system, your hormones. You could do more damage in one day than all the work you put in, all the good things you put in all week. So say for instance, you work out every day for 5-6 days, you eat really good, and then one day you just go out drinking. Even though we're drinking right now, we're drinking ciders.
That's what that was?
Yeah, hard ciders, so they're not that bad. So, but you go out drinking all weekend and eating crazy stuff, and then you basically erased all the work that you did. Yeah, erased it. Not worked against it, erased it.
Damn.
So you see,
and you probably got a hangover.
Right.
And if you're old, we already heard your body's gonna be all hurt up for more than
the recovery process.
Them young hangovers.
Exactly.
Over the days.
Yeah, when I was 18, a hangover was eat or drink something. But now I'm out for 3 days.
You gotta put ice on your knees, Bengay between your fingers. It's hard out here, man.
What the hell are you doing with your fingers that you need Bengay?
I don't know, but sometimes they're just sore.
It's those train rides,
I think it was like swimming or
something. I
something.
love making on the train.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
So
magic ointment.
So you should never feel hungry. If you do, that's exactly what you said in your initial response. It's probably because you're not nourishing your body, you're not getting good quality foods, right? Like that Beyonce Master Cleanse, that's like a crazy deprivation of foods and then an infusion of stuff that's gonna help you evacuate. That kind of stuff isn't healthy long term. You might hear people like, oh, I was on the Beyonce diet and I lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But what are you doing after that?
You can't just be drinking lemonade.
Exactly. And then did you keep the 10 pounds off? Did it come back? Did it come back even stronger? So the best diet, what is the best diet? I guess this is a great way to end the podcast. There's no good answer to that. Yeah.
No good answer.
Everyone's different. Everyone has different needs. Everyone has different levels of activity. Everyone has different cultural needs, right? Like, I'm not gonna be eating a bunch of like stale ass food all the time. I need flavor. I need some cooked food. All that kind of stuff is like part of my culture. It's how I break bread with my family. And then also too, you know, there shouldn't be a diet that is so rigid and specific that if I feel like I want to eat something and get reckless, you know, once a month or whatever it is, that I'm so restricted that I can't enjoy life. Like if I go traveling to some foreign country, I'm gonna eat some crazy stuff, you know?
That's it, man. That's what life is all about.
Exactly. So, but what we would say in terms of how to pick a better diet, because that's what it's about. It's not about like this little fad diet short term. It's like, what can I do for long-term benefits? Is to start eating more real foods. And it's really that simple. So when we say real foods, we mean if it has a shelf life longer than a week, it's probably not real, right? There's some chemicals infused, there's some processing done that made that thing able to exist on a shelf for longer than a week. If it's something that, you know, you have to keep it in the freezer for it to stay together or whatever, that's probably not real food anymore. If it's something that, you know, doesn't have seeds in it, right? You get all these fruits that don't have seeds anymore. Why they don't have seeds anymore?
That's a good question.
Exactly. There's something that happened in that process, and that no longer is a real food. If it's something that, if you look at the ingredients on the label, and like it's like
43 ingredients,
exactly.
And like the first one is a 12-letter word with 8 syllables. I mean 8 vowels. That's a chemical that you
it's
shouldn't
not
be
real
eating.
food. Not real food. So what happens is if you start eating more of real foods, infusing those real foods into your body will start telling you what it wants, what it needs, what's working, what's not working. You'll see that your emotions are different. You'll see that your bathroom visits are different. You know what I mean? Either they're more enjoyable, they're more frequent, whatever it is. You'll see that other things that you wouldn't have even thought were related to nutrition, your sex life, your
energy levels,
all that stuff. That stuff is all going to be better, and so you want to listen to those messages. And then the fat, if combined with movement, you know, good quality movement, moving regularly, being very active, not looking for short, quick, 12-minute workouts kind of thing, but like incorporating movement more into your life, the fat will start burning, you know, and it's a process, but we know it's a struggle, right?
It's a struggle, man. You got to figure out what works for you. You know, instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs for a few flights. You know, go all the way up on the stairs, all the way up on the stairs. Yeah, I mean, and finding balance, right? I mean, don't go hardcore to the point where you want to binge and go crazy on that one day and then feel like, damn, and then you're eating McDonald's at lunch or, you know, going crazy like that. It's like making good decisions, moving, and then increasing that.
That's right,
you know, as you start seeing progress.
And when, you know, we're both fathers, so did you see any, when you first became a dad, was there any struggles that were different?
Let me just say, the first time in like 17 years.
You have twin
I got twin
babies.
Savage children that like are cannibals, and so, you know, it's I should be skinny, the amount of breaking up fights and, you know, craziness I gotta deal with. Anyway, the first time I went to the doctor after I had kids, right? This is the first time in like 17 years where the doctor wasn't like, yo, you gotta do this, you gotta change this, they were like, oh, you just had kids, right? I was like, yeah, I just had twins. And they were like, oh, don't even worry.
Well, your wife had them.
Right. She did. I was there, though. So, I mean, you know, before and after. Anyway, that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
So, you know, they were like, just come back in 6 months and then I'll tell you all the things you need to do. So having kids is that's a real change,
right,
man.
And so,
yeah, you got to feed your kids and get your sleep and all that's messed up and you're eating whatever. That was a good time, actually.
Yeah, and you know, so there's real life obstacles. We're not trying to dismiss those things,
right.
But you know, it's trying your best with what you have, and not trying to get caught up in fad diets, not trying to get caught up in quick fixes and all this kind of stuff. And well, how we doing? Oh yeah, we almost there. We almost wrapping up. And you know, and then not getting. I think the most important thing is not getting frustrated when you don't see the progress you want,
right.
Or frustrated when you take a step back. Maybe you were like losing weight and then something got in the way in life. Yeah, you plateaued or you gained weight back.
Right.
Don't allow that to throw you off altogether,
right.
Because then there's no coming back from that.
That's it.
Yeah. Cool. So I think it's a wrap.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So that does it. Thanks for everyone who submitted questions. And if you want to submit questions, again, like we said in the beginning of the episode, you can go on social media, go to use the hashtag AskRevFit, and those questions will be submitted to us. What's the topic for next week? You know the topic for next week?
I can make it up, but I don't want to do that. I want to lead the people in the right direction.
There it goes right there. I just pulled it up for you.
It is, what are some healthy foods we all grew up with? That's a good one.
Yeah, so stuff, you know what I mean? Like you think about it like, oh, healthy foods, that's something I get in another neighborhood or something foreign to me. You know what I mean? What's healthy, what's not healthy? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So if you have any questions, you can submit it on social media. You can also go onto our website, leave us a comment. You can also drop a voicemail on the website. There's like a little tab to leave a voicemail. Nice. And of course, if you don't know the website, it's revolutionaryfitness.org. And again, my name is Shawn Garcia, and this
Jon
is
Rones.
Jon Rones. We'll check y'all next week. Peace.
Yeah.